Hi guys, we're back. We had a little technical beep beep poo poo caca break featuring my cat Mello. He's back. There you go. Okay, bye. So yeah, welcome back. We just finished reviewing Dark, and so at the end of The Abandoned, me and the boys, we want to take a picture in front of the Fantasia backdrop, and we got some guy that's like an industry guy. I don't know if he's a director or something. He took the picture for us. And, you know, we spoke to him about movies. We spoke to him about this next movie, this other movie we went to watch called Pandemonium, which is the first movie we watched.
Yeah.
It was preceded by a short film called Daisy, which we're going to get into also. But I want to transition like this because the guy was like, oh, they could have cracked a few jokes in the Pandemonium film. And we look at each other like, what are you talking about? That movie was hilarious. But we figured he wasn't a French speaker. It was a French film, so
yeah. So that's what I said.
We figured he didn't get the humor. You know, it's very specific type of humor. So yeah, so we'll start off with Daisy. Daisy, Nick wasn't there for this one.
Yeah.
Nick only came to see The Abandoned and Dark.
I have to say that, Dante, that was a smooth as fuck transition to segue right in.
Was it actually?
That was good as hell.
Okay, thanks.
That was good.
Yeah, well, it's all thanks to Mello. Anyways, so Daisy is a short film. It was what, 10, 12 minutes? How long does it say over there?
Daisy's 14 minutes long.
14 minutes.
Directed by Torbjorn Edwall.
Yeah.
It is a Swedish movie.
And it's about this couple. I assume they run a cow farm, a dairy farm or something up in Sweden. And, you know, there was this cow named Daisy, and Daisy has disappeared. Right? They show up to the cow thing, like the pen or whatever. And Daisy, the cow,
Those fucking cows are hanging out.
the cow coop, you know.
Yeah.
And the cow Daisy's gone, so they're trying to figure out what's happening, and they have all these theories and stuff like that. What ends up happening is that one night, all the cows are gone, and the main character goes out to look for them with like a little hunting rifle and some.
I think it was a shotgun.
No, it was a hunting rifle.
Was it?
Yeah, it was a hunting rifle.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It was like a 22 or whatever.
Whatever.
Anyways, he shows up to this field, and like the cows are being abducted by aliens, which is like, okay, yeah, saw it coming, you know, a little bit.
Yeah, we've all seen South Park.
We've all seen South Park, but the twist was that the cows are the aliens, and they're leaving, and they're like, oh, we've given you all we can, now it's up to you to figure it out.
That was a funny. The cow, like the cow speaks.
Yeah, the cow talks to him.
But like telepathically, because they're not going to CGI a cow talking.
Mm-hmm. I mean, isn't that the twist in South Park?
That was my joke. Yeah, that was my joke. And you can zoom in on me because after I said I was doing eyes to the camera because that is the joke. But yeah, the cow says, and this I thought this was fucking hilarious. The cow said this. He's like, "We've given you our milk to make you strong. Now it's up to you." And then the cow starts floating. Like it's such a fucking. But it
was well done too.
And I found the gimmick lands so well because the tone of the film is so serious.
Yeah,
it's so dark.
Yeah,
and it's like even the effects aren't goofy. Like it's very dark.
It's dark.
It's very like hard sci-fi.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden it's completely absurd. But it lands so well.
And it's only absurd for those like 5 seconds.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
great.
awesome.
And it was well shot. It was well made. It was better shot than. Actually, I don't want to say better shot. It was better produced than Dark. Like the shots were more crisp, the colors were more crisp. It was filmed on like better camera stuff.
It felt more professional.
It was a lot more professional, and yeah, it was pretty good. I liked it a lot. It was nice. It was the first movie we watched at Fantasia.
Yes.
It preceded Pandemonium.
Yeah.
And it was a good taster, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm disappointed I missed that because that seems like it's just in my vein.
Oh, yeah,
that style.
totally
I would have loved.
You could be that farmer.
I would have loved to see that.
And then the movie ends with like the farmer's wife being like, "Well, you know, they make milk out of oats these days. We can try that." It's so funny.
What a good ending.
Yeah, it's fucking funny.
That's a really.
It was pretty funny.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was really good.
And the guy's just sitting there like
Yeah.
totally like destroyed.
Yeah.
That's an awesome ending.
Yeah, it was
really
very,
good.
very like because like the whole tone of the film, it's so dark and so tense. You're like, oh my god, what's going on? And then the whole whatever after
falls
the
apart.
climax, the denouement.
Yeah.
No, that's before, right?
No, that's after.
That's after. So the whole denouement is just absurd and hilarious. And
Yeah, because the whole film, the theory is that, like, what the characters say in this movie is that, like, or there's, like, wolves that go around and they kill, like... So we thought there was going to be, like, some horror shit going on, but no, it ends up being this absurdist comedy.
It was very good. It was very good.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. What do you...
That sounds awesome.
I was 7. 7? I was going to say 6.
Without seeing it, a 9.
Because it's really good. It's really well made. It's
no, but
funny.
for me, it's like on that short film. What you're saying, what makes short film good? Like I think it was a great short film, so I give it a 7.
What was the length on that one? You said
14 minutes.
Okay, that's good then. Okay, I was gonna say usually 15 minutes. You call it something else.
Yeah,
we're gonna get to that. 15 minutes, cut something out. We're gonna get to that.
It's true. That's true.
What's it? Not illusion. Foreshadowing.
There you go. So then, what came after Daisy was Pandemonium, a French film by a director who goes by Quarks. The lady who was doing... Everyone was pronouncing it Quirks. Like, ooh, I'm quirky. But it's spelled,
no, that doesn't go by for the physicist, bro. No way.
No, because it's spelled Quarxx.
Yeah, it's Quarks.
That's Quarks. If anything, it's Quarks.
Yeah.
But,
What do I say?
yeah, go for
Well,
it.
we just told you.
I'm just gonna get a look at it.
First of all, I don't know. How do you guys feel about a director having a one-word stage name?
I think unless he's really good, it's kind of cringe.
I think it's pretentious too.
A little bit.
It's pretty pretentious. Yeah.
Having a stage name is fine.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you don't want to be doxxed and shit, like keep your previous personal life private. That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But going by like, oh, dude, you're not a fucking hip hop artist, or like I don't know, you're a fucking movie director. How
And you're a pretentious French one too, so stop it.
Um.
Like he's one of those French people that you could tell like he thinks he's really cool because he watches like Rick and Morty, you know.
So, okay, so Pandemonium. Pandemonium.
Pandemonium.
This was
Pandemonium.
it's a French movie from France, not from Quebec.
It would be way better for Quebec.
So this director's movie in 2016, A Nearly Perfect Blue Sky, won the jury prize for Best International Short at Fantasia in 2016.
That sounds like it's not true.
No, it's weird.
No, I know, but it doesn't sound like it's probably that good based on what we watched.
Well, that's what I mean. I was expecting quite a bit from this, especially. It's named Pandemonium, which is a reference to John Milton's Paradise Lost, which is my favorite epic poem. Sure, there's not a lot of... It's probably my favorite poem.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fuck.
What else makes the list?
Dante's Inferno over here. This guy doesn't like that, I guess so. Okay.
What? What did you just say?
Dante's Inferno.
I haven't read it.
With the Epic of Gilgamesh.
I haven't read it.
It's a good one.
Anyways, so I don't know. I had high hopes just because of the name alone, but also in the description they mention influences of Paradise Lost and Dante's Inferno.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you make a movie about hell,
right?
You kind of have to do those too.
And it's also described as this like multi-textural existential fantasy topped with signature notes of visceral horror, disturbing fairy tale, wry comedy, and dark thriller.
You're shaking your head, Dante.
So that's what I mean. That's how it's described. Mm-hmm. None of that landed.
Really?
No.
So the wry...
Maybe the fairy tale part a bit.
Sure. The wry comedy. I mean, can I start with Can I do the intro?
Yeah, go. Sure.
So the first act is this dude. Cold open. Dude's lying on the ground. He gets up. He's like, oh fuck, I can't believe I survived that car crash. Spoiler alert, he didn't. He's dead. And then the ghost of the person he crashed with, the motorcyclist, who he crashed into,
was like the Virgil of his kind of thing.
He's like, haha, no, dude, you're dead. So the first act is these two ghosts discussing, coming to terms with, accepting, and discussing the fact that they are dead, they are ghosts, what happens now?
Yeah.
And then two gates appear. One gate presumably for hell, one gate presumably for heaven. The heaven gate appears first. The motorcyclist hears music. He hears trumpets and harps. He's like, oh, I hear music. Do you hear that? And the guy's like, no, what the fuck? Why don't I hear that? What's going on? And the hell gate appears and he's like, oh wait, I do hear music, but it sounds more just like screaming to me. I think that's the joke, right?
Here's Lorna Shore.
And then, turns out the motorcyclist hit a little girl before he hit the car. and the little girl dies, so the heaven gate is for the little girl, the hell gate is for both the dudes. Anyways, that whole first act, I'm not doing it justice, but I'm not trying to either. That whole first act is very Waiting for Godot. It's very Samuel Beckett. It's funny, it's sarcastic, it's witty.
It was pretty good. It was like, I liked it.
Yeah,
it's
just good, funny banter.
Mm-hmm.
Gradually, as the scene progresses, a snowstorm ensues, so the mood and atmosphere turns more and more into what we typically imagine purgatory to be, a la T.S. Eliot's Wasteland.
Or like a Silent Hill.
Or like Silent Hill, exactly.
Yeah.
You're not just like setting up the scene too. Like, what are we looking at now?
So it was filmed in a volcanic mountain range.
Cool.
So it's super hilly, very green,
Mm-hmm.
dark asphalt road cuts through, snakes through the scenery.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very beautiful. And then, like I said, this snowstorm starts hitting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And progressively, the background becomes more and more just white.
Okay.
And then they're getting covered in snow.
Yeah.
And it's fucking cool. Like, the progression is
It's really
awesome. The comedy lands, it's super witty, it's very absurd, you know.
Yeah.
They're, you know, kind of riffing off of each other.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're deciding who's the Hellgate for, right? So they're
Yeah.
discussing their life,
Yeah.
and I killed someone, but it wasn't that bad. Like that kind of like it's funny.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah, like the first guy was like, "Oh, I killed my wife because like I put her out of her misery because she had like this disease or whatever."
I
And
think
she
it was MS.
MS, something like late stage, some
Yeah.
sort of disease, and he killed her to put her out of her misery. So he's like, "Oh, it wasn't that bad." Blah blah blah. Then when we find out the motorcyclist is kind of gaslighting him, like, "Oh, you killed your wife. Murder's murder. The Hellgate's for you."
Yeah.
Then when the girl shows up, they look at the girl and they're like, "Oh fuck," and like, the motorcyclist's like, "Oh, I probably hit a girl," and he's like,
He's like, I might have hit a girl.
"I had a couple of drinks, you know."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Fuck, you thought the Hellgate was for fucking you, motherfucker."
Yeah.
So then, but then they realized that the Heaven Gate was for the girl.
Yeah.
And the girl didn't want to go to it. She just wanted to wear her parents. So the guy just picks up the girl and throws her in the Heaven
Yeah.
Gate.
Like,
He's like, "Shut the fuck up, go."
Yeah. It is funny. It is funny.
It was pretty funny.
It is existential. The first act I thought was the best. It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
And this is where it goes down.
And then, even the transition to the second act, and the director spoke about it after. I think we'll talk about the Q&A at the end.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, like the main character, they decide, they come to terms with the fact that the Hellgate is for both of them, and then they're just kind of like, oh well, you know, I guess this is our first torture, is that it has to be our choice to step through the gate. I kind of wish it was forced, you know, that would at least make it easier. So the main character just fucking shoves him in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then the main character's like, well, fuck it, I'm not going in. Why would I? You know, no one's gonna push me in. And then all of a sudden this like shadow, smoke, monster, bad CGI thing appears.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then he's like, okay, fuck it, I'm going in.
How bad?
Pretty bad. Pretty.
Oh yeah.
Pretty like you'd see it on like the Metro posters of like a 3D animation school.
Really?
Like Sejep,
Yeah, it was
Okay.
pretty bad. Like something pulled out of like
They could
a video game put into a movie.
Oh,
like
yeah.
it didn't look good.
like not even a video, like a PS2 game.
Okay.
Yeah,
it was bad. It was really bad.
They could have just done like a Cerberus dog.
Yeah.
Instead, it would hit way harder.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, they put this weird shadow beast like.
Yeah.
Like you ever watch Lost?
No.
You watch Lost?
Smoke. You're talking
Yeah, the
about,
smoke
yeah.
monster. Yeah, that's what it looked like. But yeah, you want to go to the second act?
So then the second act, all of a sudden, he's in hell. And he's in a desert. The color hue is super red. Super smoky, super opaque, whatever.
Brownish red.
I'm colorblind. Whatever, doesn't matter. And then there's just a sea of corpses. And he's like, oh fuck, I'm in hell. And then he kneels down and touches the first corpse. And then he flashbacks to the corpse's sin.
Yeah.
That made them go to hell.
Mm-hmm.
And then cut back to him, that sucked. And then he touches the next corpse, and then it happens again. But like those two flashbacks is
Were most
like
of the movie.
75% of the movie.
First flashback's just the guy at his computer about to beat off.
So the first story is this little girl. It's a little girl corpse. It's a little girl. She's a psychopath. She kills her parents. She has an imaginary friend named Tom, Ted,
Tim.
Tim the monster. Tom. It's a friend.
Tony.
Tony the monster.
Okay.
And it's a good story. but it's so long that it drags on and it becomes not a good story, and then we're like, wait, wasn't I watching a different movie?
Mm-hmm.
And then it cuts back to him, and then enter the next story, and it's an even better, more engaging story, but then the whole
Better
time...
film, too.
Better film, too. But then the whole time you're still thinking, like, well, you know...
How many corpses are we going to go through? Like,
after that, such a good first act, like, I kind of just want to see this guy's experience in hell. I don't care about these people.
Yeah.
So that, to me, that completely ruined the movie. And then the third act, you liked the third act, I didn't. The third act, to me, felt like the director or writer... I'm pretty sure he wrote it. He did. The writer just being like, oh, fuck, how do I end this? And then, oh, let's make him get... send him to a torture dungeon.
For 5,000 years.
Okay.
That's like
just
his
the ending of it?
Well, then the torture dungeon master ends up killing him by accident, and then, oh, plot twist, if you die in hell, you're reincarnated.
Okay.
He killed him too early.
It ends with a scene of a baby being born, and then the baby, and
Okay.
it's like, oh, but if a baby's reincarnated from hell, it turns into the Antichrist, and then it just ends. And it's like, what the fuck? Like,
then,
all of this
yeah.
lore out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It was pretty bad. But, like, I liked the first act. Hated the middle with the fucking purgatory hell shit. It was just, like Lee said, it turned me off the movie so much, because it was, like, one, I didn't find them that good. They weren't that interesting. Like, if they were a lot more well-written and more interesting, those things in the middle, it would have been a bit more appealing. But the last act I liked. It's not that I liked it. I just liked it more than the anthology bullshit.
Sure, it was funny.
Because it was funny. Like, it didn't take itself so seriously, and like the guy, the main character's sarcasm was still there at the end, and he gets beat up by like his dungeon mate that accidentally kills him because he's supposed to spend 5,000 years there. But yeah, I did feel like, oh, how am I gonna wrap this up? You know, kind of thing.
2 questions for you guys.
Yeah.
What did Dungeon Master look like? What was the kind of dungeon?
He
kind of looked like that motherfucker from the Goonies.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you ever play Left 4 Dead 2?
No, I don't.
You kind of look like a boomer. Was that what they called?
Yeah, boomer.
Boomer from
just
like
big bugger.
bloated,
Okay.
kind of greasy, bald,
Or the
decaying.
The Lieutenant Orc in
Lord
Two
of
Towers.
yeah.
The guy with white, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
That's what it looked like.
Mix of all that.
second.
I did like the practical effects though. It was good.
Oh, okay.
It was all practical except for that
And
one
the
ghost, smoke, shadow monster. Everything else was
Okay.
practical. I mean, I agree. The blood, the gore, everything's super well done. Tony the Monster, the makeup,
Was good.
super
Super
good.
well done, yeah.
I will say, in terms of designing a monster, it's just the Elephant Man from the Lynch movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but he likes peanut butter. Jelly sandwiches.
So the Dungeon Master and the monster are very similar, I'd say.
The Dungeon Master is not as deformed, not as... His face isn't as bloated, just more of like an obese man face.
Okay.
Yeah.
But like, you know, they're...
A bit more Dungeons and Dragons kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And my next question was, you said that if you die in hell, you're reincarnated as the Antichrist.
Yeah, so the whole point is that he's supposed to spend 5,000 years in this like solitary confinement room with this bloated guy.
And that's the first stage of his eternal...
That's the first stage of his eternal punishment.
Okay.
But the bloated guy kills him because he's playing with him too hard.
Kills him within 10 minutes.
Within
Not
10
even.
minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the devil or whoever the guide of the hell comes back and is like, dude, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
You killed him. You're supposed to play that hard with him. He's supposed to be here for 5,000 years.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. You know, it's like super dumb.
Okay.
And then he explains to him, it's like, look what you've done. Now he's going to be reincarnated as the Antichrist. And he's like, don't worry, boss. I'll take care of it. So you see like the baby being cradled in the room, and you see like the fat guy in the corner like, yes, it's so stupid.
Yeah, he's like, oh, you fucked up. You created an Antichrist. So then this dungeon master's like, don't worry, I'll go to the real world and go get him. It's like,
Okay.
And it was like a 5-second bit, that part.
yeah,
Seems like
and
so
then it's
place
credits.
stuff.
That's what I mean. Like the third act was
Yeah.
literally just like him, like, oh fuck, how the hell do I end this?
Yeah.
Okay. But then, if you die in hell, you're reincarnated. Was it all a few?
No, it's because he died before his 5,000 years. Come on, aren't you listening, dude?
Well, so
all those people.
Fuck,
serve
yo!
their
So
sentence. They'll serve the sentence.
the field of corpses might maybe they weren't corpses. Maybe they're just
Maybe they're in the
catatonic from-
purgatory ready to be judged.
Who knows? They were lying on the ground covered in a burlap sack. I don't know. I'm using the word corpses because they
Okay.
were still.
Sounds stupid to me.
That's what it was.
Yeah,
It was.
okay.
Yeah,
It was.
stupid,
Yeah.
That's like a stupid movie to me.
So, I thought it was funny. Like, it was a dumb, funny movie. It's kind of the thing, it's kind of what not what I expected from Fantasia, but I do expect some of the horror movies we're going to watch at Fantasia to be shitty and funny like that, you know, and not to be that great.
But the thing is that it wasn't. I think the last act was funny on purpose.
Yeah.
The first act was witty, so it was funny.
First
on
act was good,
purpose.
yeah.
But like the second act
Was just horrible. It's just
and like so at the end of this movie we got a Q&A with the director. One of the questions asked was, you know, your movie's full of practical effects. What's with the shadow monster? And he said, and this part was cool. The first how he introduced the answer to this question was cool because he was like, well, the original plan was just to have this big, black, ominous dog chase him into the door.
which is a way better idea than
Which is a way better idea. But he said they filmed on a volcanic island because they liked the atmosphere and everything. And it snowed. It actually did snow.
Mm-hmm.
Unexpectedly.
Oh,
They were all in shorts and like they were dressed
Mm-hmm.
for summer. And all of a sudden there was a huge snowstorm.
Okay.
That was completely, which for the movie
It's cool.
worked out super well.
Yeah.
But in terms of them going through with that plan, they're like, you know, at the end of the day, like we're all getting hypothermia and we didn't have time for the dog and everything, so we just called cut and we had to figure it out later.
Because, you know, they're doing the VFX for the dog on site in the snow, right?
Mm-hmm.
But no, because I think originally they wanted a real dog.
Yeah.
But whatever, because of the snowstorm, it didn't work out.
You can't fucking...
And like, what I said was then just don't cut to the street behind the main character. Stay on the main character, stay on the door, and just have the sound of a dog barking and snarling and the guy getting scared and jumping in the door.
It works too. Yeah.
Instead of cutting to this shitty fucking visual effects shadow monster
It was
that
even a
looks like
cut.
garbage.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Literally a hard cut to the street behind with this garbage shadow monster. Huge, massive.
It looks
CGI.
like a Bionicle movie.
Oh yeah.
It was fucking stupid.
And it was a shadow monster with like a red eye in the middle, bro. Like a red light in the middle. It was
Yeah.
pretty bad.
Like shadow tentacles and like, dude, it would look dumb as fuck.
Okay.
Like conceptually, super cool monster. But
No, not the right place for
But the
it.
CGI was bad and not the right place for it and all that. Like
That's
they
pretty funny.
even just put a guy in a fucking cloak and give him a scythe
Mm-hmm.
and just have death just standing ominously in the snowstorm would have landed
Way better.
something less in your fucking face. Like it was just so
Yeah.
out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And the comment I hated the most in the Q&A is the fucking anthology one. You want to talk about that?
Oh yeah, that was so funny.
Well, so basically, actually, I'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Fucking, we're doing the Q&A, and I forget what the question is. Do you remember what the question is? The girl asked him.
So the question was that the ending's pretty open, right? It ends with the dungeon master going to the real world to bring the Antichrist back to hell.
Mm-hmm.
Which lore-wise makes no sense, because wouldn't Satan want the Antichrist to be, like, isn't that the apocalypse? Like, isn't that the
Yeah.
whole fucking goal? Anyways, so it ends on that cliffhanger. So one of the questions asked was, do you plan a sequel? And he was like, no, I don't plan, we weren't planning a sequel, but we are in talks with Netflix to turn the show into an anthology
Mm-hmm.
of these episodes of this main character touching lost souls and experiencing their great sin.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes into saying how like it's so funny because when he made this movie, he made a point of trying very hard not to make an anthology film.
But that's exactly what he did. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It was.
I mean, it sounds like that. It sounds like a three-parter.
Yeah, because I mean, if both shorts in the middle were like 5-10 minutes, I'd be fine.
Or even like 10 seconds and it's just, you know. Flying.
Yeah.
That's what I said. I was just do a fucking montage.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need the whole fuck. I don't need 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Dude, it was literally it's the movie is 96 minutes long.
And an hour of it was...
60 minutes at least are these two
Yeah.
stories.
Yeah. It
Wow.
was. It was.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And yeah, I don't know.
And he tried, and that's him trying not to make an anthology. Right?
Yeah.
How does that make sense?
It's episodic. It's not...
Yeah. So, I don't know. But, I mean, so the first episode, this little girl who kills her parents and has this imaginary friend, it's cute. That's the fairy tale-esque part, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's filmed in this this crazy, old, huge mansion. It's
Yeah.
the set,
Very
the
very
sets are
baroque
beautiful.
mansion.
The cinematography is beautiful. Visually, the movie's great.
Okay, but the story's just too stupid.
It's just nothing land. After the first act, nothing lands.
I mean, it sounds like you wanted to make a short movie again.
Yeah.
And he went, fuck, I got a good 20 minutes here. What can I do after?
Yeah, exactly.
And he even said he's like I must have written 100 of these Lost Soul stories.
Okay.
And I had to pick my 2 favorites to put into the movie.
Yeah.
Listen, if those are his 2 best ones, I don't want to know what the other ones are.
I was like, dude, what? Like, just make the Netflix show first then.
Yeah.
What's the point of the? I think despite him trying not to make an anthology, this movie to me felt like a proof of concept.
Okay, yeah.
I
Like if they just had the beginning Act 1 conversation for a whole movie, and then at the last act was them going through hell, that would have been fine because I thought it was pretty funny.
So sick because that first act is genuinely so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Julia. I don't really have much else to say about the movie.
Either favorite shot?
Did I have one? Did I tell you that I had one?
No, I think we both probably have this. I mean, it's something in the first act. Just the snowstorm, them, the doors, the whole composition.
I like the original crash shot was good. Like when he wakes up, it was
true.
good. Oh no! Okay, no, there is a really good shot in the movie.
Okay, go ahead.
It's the one where he pulls out his body from the car, and he's standing up, and it's like a wide angle, and his face is close up to his dead body's face is close to the camera, but it's like tilted. It's like angled really on a 45, and you see him in the background looking down at his face body. That's like at the bottom third of the shot. That was a good shot. That was a good shot from my phone.
Yeah. I think probably mine was just like whatever wide of them standing in the snowstorm. Just a perfect.
Some Silent Hill shit.
Yeah, just so sick.
What you rate it?
What
do you rate it? What do you rate it?
4.
4?
Well, to me it's below average. I'm not going to watch it again. I don't recommend.
Yeah, it was. It's a below average. It's a 4. It's actually. I give it a 3.
Yeah, that bad.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty bad. Like, there's a lot of the reason I find it so bad is that this guy has he's a director, and he made decisions that you cannot make. And I feel like like he just doesn't. He's not a very good artist. I don't know. What do you rate it? Not even
I mean, it sounds low. Sounds not interesting, really.
Sounds mid as fuck.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not big on anthologies, though, either. I don't really like those.
If I'm gonna watch an anthology, I'm gonna watch an anthology
That'd
show.
be by Wes Anderson.
Even then, yeah, it doesn't even. I go, well, okay, yeah, it's something. If the like.
I mean, the only really good anthology I've seen is The French Dispatch.
Mm-hmm. I mean, then I find like the atmosphere, the theme has to be like the same in each little episode.
Sure.
Because if I'm gonna put something on, I'm gonna be like, fuck, that first one was sick. Oh, the second one was shit. Oh, the third one we really missed.
Yeah. Well, have you guys seen 3 Extremes?
No.
Well, whatever. I could go on and list very good horror anthologies. I'm not gonna do that now, but we'll talk about it later. For the Patreon listeners.
Yeah, subscribe. Get a coaster.
Yeah.
But no, this was mid as fuck. Like it was not.
I mean, I enjoyed going to watch it. I enjoyed watching it with my homie.
Yes.
But I'm not watching that alone at home on my TV. It's not happening.
I will say now too, despite the facilities of Concordia, the seats are not comfortable.
They're not the worst though.
You disagree?
I love those seats.
Really?
I would sleep every day in those seats.
Wow. Maybe.
I've also slept in those seats.
You don't mind? My whole fucking lower half kept getting numb.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it might be scoliosis. I have scoliosis.
Oh, okay.
That might be. Because you noticed how I was sitting. I kept propping my knees up.
Well,
I kept sitting. I kept having my feet on the seat in front of me and just watching the movie like this.
Yeah. I didn't even notice you were doing that.
Really? Because my whole fucking butt and top leg was.
I mean, I was also like moving around a lot, but I was kind of like leaning.
Yeah.
Then go back like this.
No,
and then lean.
The Concordia technique, you gotta put your feet underneath the seat in front of you.
I did
that
sit on the end of the back.
Yeah.
You're fucking prop like that.
Yeah. What I will say was cool about the seats, each seat has a little prop-up desk because it's in a university, right? So for all like the journalists and I took notes. I didn't take notes the first day. I forgot my notebook.
Yeah.
But I took notes the second day, and I felt it was pretty useful.
I put it up like a blanket.
Oh, that's cute.
Just because like I like the tension of folding onto something.
I went to film studies there for 2 years and watched movies like everything. I don't think I saw a single person ever use one of those things in 2 years.
That's so funny.
Never.
We said that at the same time, huh, by the way? We both said that's so funny exactly at the same time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's it.
Fuck.
Anyway, so that's that movie. By Quarks.
Yeah, sounds like a low one.
It was kind of a low one, but it was a fun watch. It was fun to watch it with my friend. We were just laughing the whole time.
And as a festival movie, good as a festival thing, or?
Well, so this was the first thing we watched at Fantasia. So what was fun to me was the ability to talk to the director after.
The Q&A seems cool.
It's
really
really
cool. It was
Cool
awesome.
aspect.
Yeah.
Did he introduce the film also, or she, or whoever? it was?
So whoever wrote the blurb, Kat Ellinger, I think from what I understand, whoever writes the blurb introduces that film.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So she introduced that film. My apologies if it was someone different, but she introduced that film, and then before the movie starts, they would bring the director down. The director would say a few words, and then show the movie. But the director wasn't in charge of actually presenting the film. It was more like, you're about to watch this.
Oh, okay.
Here's my blurb about it. The director's here. Come say hi. Yada yada yada. We'll have a Q&A after.
And people start meowing. You know.
Yeah, the usual.
Yeah. Any other thoughts about this movie, Lee? I don't have anything else to want to say about the movie.
So despite me giving it a 4 out of 10, and despite me being pretty explicitly disappointed in it, I do think if Netflix does pick it up, it will be a good show.
Okay.
Yeah, it might be.
Because those two stories were well written, they were good as independent stories, but in the context of this movie, where the entire first act gives you so much investment into the main character, why the fuck would I care about these two stories?
Yeah, I know. It's,
I get that this guy wasn't trying to make an anthology, but if you're gonna have 66 to 75% of your movie be two independent stories, don't spend so much time making me not like the main character, but invested in his story.
Yeah. And then forget about it.
Right.
And then remember, and then forget again.
That was my main issue.
Go. You want to go up? Go. Go on the fucking thing.
Dante's taking care of his cats. That was my main issue with it, right? So I think I genuinely hope Netflix picks it up, because the movie was well made.
I like how there was a guy in the crowd when he said, "Oh, Netflix, we might do a series." The guy who asked the question in the crowd was like, "Yes," and I'm just like, "No."
Yeah, I don't know. I'm stoked. I hope he does get picked up.
But he said yes, like as if the movie was really good.
Yeah. But whatever. I hope it does get picked up. I think it would be a good Netflix anthology show, because there hasn't really been a good Netflix horror anthology show. And I think this guy's got a pretty creative mind. Those two stories were very different in tone, so it would be a very roller coaster type of anthology.
Okay.
So I think it would be good. And
Yeah.
I think that's probably all I have to say to wrap Pandemonium up.
Yeah, we have the same thoughts, so I don't really have anything else to say about Pandemonium.
4 out of 10 movie?
Yeah.
4 out of 10 movie.
Yeah.
But what was good about it is that I think it was a good taster, because everything else we watched was pretty good.
That's true.
It set the bar low, and the bar only got higher. Like, it was like everything else was really good after.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, definitely. And we're gonna end. I think we're gonna end with our highlight of the festival.
We're definitely getting to the highlight. We're getting there. Remember those fucking foreshadowing moments?
Yeah.
From before, because it's about that last one. Okay, it's about that last one. Anyway, so I guess we'll talk about the next movie.
Yeah, next we'll talk about New Life.
New Life, directed by Josh Rossman.
Oh, did you get that right?
I did get that right, 100%.
You guys want to give it a little cut?
Do we have to? No.
Just to be safe with the camera.
Alright, we're gonna cut.
Yeah.
We're gonna fucking cut, okay?
Stay tuned for New Life.
Stay tuned for New Life. And the fucking movie at the end. We're not spoiling shit, but you gotta stay for that review, because we're getting to it, alright? It's the highlight of the podcast. We're gonna tell you if it's a good movie or not yet, but it's the fucking highlight, okay? Peace! Monolith.